Hello and welcome to Ctrl-Alt-Secure, Akuto's micro-podcast about cybersecurity in the age of AI. Did you know that hackers hide malware and images that are hosted on legitimate websites and look just like any normal photo? That adorable kitten might just be hiding ransomware that can cripple your business.
Hello and welcome to Ctrl-Alt-Secure. To those of you who caught last week's episode, welcome back. And to those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. My name is Ruby. I am an audio technician based out of Montreal.
And I'm Dom, principal cybersecurity consultant based in Toronto. And last episode, we said we would be talking about audio watermarking. So that's our episode for today. So Ruby, since you're our audio expert, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what audio watermarking is?
So digital watermarking means embedding hidden information inside an audio, image, or video file. So it's not just audio. You can embed information in anything. This information can identify the creator and make sure that it's authentic or protect copyright.
Great. Thanks for that, Ruby. And it's actually a great segue into something that I wanted to talk about as well on the cybersecurity side of things, which is steganography. Not the easiest word to say. It's a Greek word, and it means, very loosely translated, a concealed message.
What does steganography mean for cybersecurity?
That is a great question. And as I'm about to answer it, I have to remind myself what my wife always tells me is that not everybody finds this stuff as fascinating as I do. Steganography is used by hackers in many different ways. The most relevant to talk about is when it comes to antivirus bypass techniques. That's where hackers try to find ways to get malicious files onto your computer without them being detected by whatever antivirus you're running there.
Let's say there's malicious software embedded into a file. How does your computer run the program from the initial file?
There's tons, like I could talk about this stuff for hours. So I'll just focus on like one particular approach. Usually these files that contain embedded within them, like an image file that contains embedded malware, are part of what's called like a two-stage attack. The first stage is try to trick you into clicking something or downloading something that your antivirus is going to scan and is going to look at it and say, well, this doesn't contain anything malicious, so sure, I'll go ahead and run it. Embedded within that file is some logic that will go out on the internet and download a file that has the actual malicious payload embedded within it. And if that was an executable file, your antivirus is smart enough to know, oh yeah, I should look at this because executable files, carry malicious payloads. But what if it's an audio file, or what if it's an image? Your antivirus may think that, oh, these files don't contain anything malicious, so I'm not going to look at it. Or even if they do look at it, how do they know how to decode the hidden message within that image? They don't really know. There's no standard way of knowing it. So that's how hackers are using these files to embed malicious software that they're able to download on your computer and run. There's another twist to this, which is once they have a file that contains this malicious code that they want to execute, where are they going to put it where they can download it from? If you put a malicious executable on Google Drive, you can be pretty sure that, within minutes, Google's going to detect that and take it down. But if you host a picture of your cat on a legitimate image sharing website, and that picture of your cat has embedded within it malware, then there's nothing suspicious about a program that you're running going to that well-known website to download an image. And that's how they're able to bypass the security measures that are in place for downloading malicious content. Okay, I feel like I talked about this way too much. So I think we should get on to more interesting things like watermarking. And you talked about that watermarking is like hiding information inside of other types of files. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so actually it's pretty interesting because you had a lot to say on how hackers are using this to, put malware into stuff. And I think it's a bit like last week when we talked about AI voice cloning. I actually have the less malicious applications of watermarking. So some practical applications for watermarking that a non-malicious person might have is for copyright purposes. Let's say you make a song and you don't release it, or you have a bit of audio and you publish it and you just want to make sure that you are able to recognize it as your own if you were to ever encounter it while browsing. Let's say you were to hear the audio that you created somewhere it shouldn't be, somewhere that you didn't want it to end up. If you have a watermark audio file, you're able to take that audio and you're able to authenticate that it is originally your piece. You're able to prove that it's your piece of audio, and it makes it a lot easier in terms of copyright or just in terms of credit to authenticate that you are the owner or you are the creator of this piece of audio. It's like an artist's signature at the bottom of the work.
I love it. That's a great analogy.
So there are two main types of watermarks. So there's robust watermarks and fragile watermarks. A robust watermark is something that can survive compression, cropping, editing. And then on the other hand of that, there's more fragile watermarks, and those are like a tripwire. So if you embed a watermark in your file, let's say you were drawing up an important contract or something, a verbal audio recording that was very important, you could put a watermark in it, and you will know that if that watermark has been removed, you will know that the file has been tampered with.
I had never thought of the tripwire use of watermarking either. And that's really clever. It's a very interesting way to be able to prove that, nope, this is not what I said. The watermark has been tampered with.
It's like a courtroom bombshell. Like, this isn't my document.
So do I need some high-end recording studio equipment to be able to insert watermarks, or is that something anybody can do? What tools are available for this stuff?
There's a lot of companies that are currently making technology that allows you to watermark audio. Some examples being TELUS Alliance, Fraunhofer, 25/7, Linear Acoustics. In the broadcast sphere, these companies are making products to watermark audio robustly so that it can be traced and tracked no matter how it's compressed.
All right. So we have these audio files and now we want to watermark them for whatever reason, to protect them or to prevent tampering. And we talked about the fact that most people can't tell the difference. Can you play us a sample? Can you produce an audio file with a watermark and without a watermark so that we can actually hear it and see if we can tell the difference?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've prepared a watermarked audio file so we can compare the two and see if we can tell the difference. So the first clip I'm going to play is the unwatermarked original recording. So here it is. So again, that was the original recording with no watermark. And now I'm going to play the watermarked version. So see if you can hear any differences in the audio.
Wow, I couldn't tell the difference at all.
Right?
So in our last episode, we actually talked about voice cloning and producing audio and music with AI. Ethical use of AI is one of the big topics. And so how do you, especially when you're generating content, make sure that it's used ethically, right? And being able to add watermarks to it is one of those things. A perfect example of how that could be used is, we talked about voice cloning scams last time. Wouldn't it be great if these models that are able to generate high quality cloned voices included a watermark in that audio so that, for example, on your mobile phone, as it's receiving the audio, somebody's talking, the operating system can actually look at that audio and give you a warning and flash like a red warning thing on your screen saying, hey, this is cloned and it's not a real person speaking.
Yeah, and Google Synth ID, they're using it for not only audio, images and video as well. It would be useful in all aspects of media to just have a watermark in it that flags that content as AI.
For all of the big brand name commercial models, I think they're going to have to watermark. They're going to have to embed some watermarks in there because of liability issues. However, there's a lot of open source AI models. People like me are able to take open source AI models and fine tune them and train them to do other things. And so this content isn't always going to come from the mainstream ones. So yes, we could rely and should rely on watermark to distinguish what's real and what's not. But that cat is out of the bag. We're never going back to being able to know with certainty what's real and what isn't.
Did you catch all that? Let's put it to the test in this week's cybersecurity quiz. Question 1. True or false? Robust watermarks are lost when a file is compressed. And the answer is false. Robust watermarks are made to endure compression. Question 2. True or false? Viruses and ransomware can only be hidden inside executable programs. And the answer is false. Malware can be embedded into all kinds of innocuous files.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Ctrl Alt Secure. We hope you enjoyed and we hope you learned something about audio watermarking.
It was very interesting. Thank you for all that, Ruby, and thanks everybody for joining.